recording. I want to welcome everyone to today's Partner Positives in our ongoing NeonOne webinar series where we spotlight the NeonOne ecosystem of software and services. If you're just joining us and don't know anything about NeonOne itself, on the next slide we're actually going to get a little bit of an intro to kind of help frame things for who we are. So, Allie, if you want to click over to the next slide. And there's the spaceship. NeonOne, the makers of NeonCRM, which is the focus of today's Partner Positives series, is a technology ecosystem of software and services that is aiming to change the way that philanthropy technology is organized and done. And so we do this in a wide variety of ways. On the next slide, we're actually going to see a little bit of a overview of the software and services that our ecosystem provides. Today, we're actually going to be focusing our partner talks on NeonCRM, which is a comprehensive donor, member, event management, communications CRM, or constituent relationship management system used by thousands of organizations of varying sizes. I actually use it myself for 2 nonprofits. But NeonOne is not just NeonCRM. We actually round out our wheel of services through a few other products. Civicor is a company that provides client case management software, which Sidekick Solutions will actually be overviewing their take on in December. But client case management, in terms of HIPAA compliance, VOCA reporting, very sensitive information, program back end. But then also we power the largest give days in the United States. North Texas Giving Day, for instance, $50 million in one day. That is NeonOne. We also have Rally-bound, peer-to-peer fundraising and digital online engagement, very powerful platform used by Michael J. Fox Foundation, Cystic Fibrosis, as well as small nonprofits like my all-volunteer nonprofit. And that actually has a direct synchronization and integration into NeonCRM. So these are the types of things that Allie's going to help unpack later on when it comes to automation. And then for the arts and theater organizations in our sector, we have a very highly specialized and user-friendly platform called Arts People that even does things like seating arrangements. So we try to round out our wheel of services as well as provide other things like web design. But what's really cool about NeonOne is that we've curated the entire ecosystem, which you can actually check out by going to neonone.com and go to our partner directory. And you'll be able to see all the different things that we've put together specific to you. So even if you're a current NeonCRM user, you'll be able to check out what things have been integrated and certified, as well as consultants such as Allie and Jeff from Sidekick Solutions, who've actually gone through a certification process to even say that they know NeonCRM. So if you actually go to that website, neonone.com, if you're a current Neon user, if you're just looking at us, if you're using one of our other products, these are things that we've done to make sure that you feel comfortable with the entire ecosystem. And it's working. We've actually raised $10 billion to date, 1.5 million this year. So I actually think we have to update that number. And this has served over 30,000 nonprofits. In fact, I think that number is at 35,000. I got to update this deck. So some housekeeping items on the next slide, and then I'm going to hand it on over to Allie. First and foremost, this is being recorded, so you can always skip over my my introduction when you want to get to the nuts and bolts of what Allie's going to be overviewing today. And this is going to be going up on our YouTube channel, which actually has, at this point, 10 different explorations of the NeonOne ecosystem, from peer-to-peer optimization to how to structure your database. But this is one that I'm super excited about, so we'll definitely be able to follow up if you're interested. Other than that, Allie, it's all yours. My name's Tim Sarantonio. If you do have any questions, I'll be checking the Q&A. I help curate our ecosystem as our Director of Strategic Partnerships. But Allie, take it away. Very excited for today's content.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim. Great. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here today as well. So let's dig in. So welcome to today's webinar. It's How to Fundraising Automation in NeonCRM. I think we've got over about 40 attendees and such, so I'm really excited to have you here with us. My name is Allie Seidel. and I am a NeonCRM consultant at Sidekick Solutions. Sidekick Solutions, as Tim mentioned, is a certified Neon One partner. Specifically, we specialize in NeonCRM, although, as Tim also mentioned, we're looking at Civicor as well. We help new and existing NeonCRM users make the most of the platform. And a key part of that work is identifying and developing automated integration systems for NeonCRM users using an integrated tool called Zapier. Whoops, getting all my things together. Here we go. So we have a strong focus on automation in our consulting work because we believe that automated tools and integrations are essential to your experience in NeonCRM, or really with any donor database for that matter. With automation, common fundraising tasks that require manual data review, entry, or cleanup can take less time or even be eliminated from your to-do list. Recurring tasks in particular are really good candidates for automation. So think of the tasks your team tackles frequently, like sending acknowledgements, collecting and keying in new data, sending renewal emails, managing event registrations, and processing volunteer applications. If these tasks start from the same prompt, like how you'd send a thank you after receiving a new online gift, you likely can save time by setting up automated procedures with modern tools. NeonCRM offers a variety of tools to help you automate recurring tasks so you can spend less time managing your data and more time focused on the tasks that are of the highest value to your organization. Automation can also replace the time you'd otherwise spend integrating data between various tools. There isn't a perfect all-in-one fundraising and accounting tool for every organization, and NeonCRM is no exception. We believe that you should be able to choose the right tool for your specific needs and have it integrate with your CRM. Because if your tools aren't integrated, you're left spending hours every month managing data between multiple systems. This means, dealing with those spreadsheet imports or entering data manually one at a time, both of which are activities that are just a waste of time when modern technology makes integrated solutions so accessible. NeonCRM has invested heavily in integrated solutions that provide you with modern tools for the most common tasks, and also allow you to connect your other tools, automating the flow of data between your systems, including those for accounting, event coordination, email providers, and more. So bottom line, whether you need an integration or automating recurring tasks, NeonCRM has a suite of tools that you can use to save time, get more done, manage larger amounts of data, and ultimately scale your organization. In this webinar, we will explore how you can take steps into fundraising automation powered by your NeonCRM system. Specifically, we'll cover popular NeonCRM tools and how to use them to automate the top 5 most common fundraising workflows. We're going to cover the most common automations and integrations that you could implement to support your day-to-day work, and how to get started with automation at your organization. Then we're going to wrap with Q&A at the end. If you have questions during the presentations, you can send them through the chat, which Tim is monitoring. Thank you, Tim. As I'm going to stay at the end as long as needed after presentation to make sure all questions are answered. So if you have a question, we'll get to it, I promise. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive in. Oh, well, those numbers are wrong. That's a bummer. But anyway, NeonCRM is an automation-enabled platform designed to simplify development tasks and processes. So of its many features, NeonCRM's most popular tools used for automation include system emails and letters, online forms, the Constituent login portal, the workflow tool, built-in integrations with third-party tools like QuickBooks, Eventbrite, Rallybound, and more, and Zapier-enabled integrations for fully customized automations with over 1,500 third-party applications. So we're going to dig into each of these in detail. So first off, Neon's system emails and letters allow users to automate transactional communications for more than 25 different events, including sending receipts for new transactions, sending pledge reminders, mailing membership renewal requests, and a lot more. So by modifying the system email and letter defaults under global settings, which I'm showing you a portion of here on this slide, you can set up automated emails and add letters automatically to a mail merge queue for bulk letter generation every time an event occurs. So that's either automating email responses or automatically generating letters that get added to a queue. You can do both or either of those things with system email and letter defaults. You can even go one step further and customize automated email and letter preferences based on whether the event was triggered by online versus staff entered data, or even based on whether the online event was from a public access versus a constituent login web form, which is what you're seeing differentiated on this page. On top of that, NeonCRM allows you to set up tailored versions of letters and emails that generate based on custom criteria. So here's an example of using conditional logic to send a separate email to thank tribute donors from general donors. But this same tool can be used to generate custom emails or letters based on gift size, account type, campaign of a donation, and a lot more. Setting up your system emails and letters to match your communication strategy can be a huge time saver. So if you're currently generating event-based communications manually, I'd strongly recommend taking a closer look at this key feature to see if you're getting the most from it. Online forms is another key NeonCRM feature that can save you time by automating data collection and entry tasks. So NeonCRM offers integrated online forms for a wide variety of use, including collecting donations, event registrations, membership payments, online store purchases, peer-to-peer fundraising donations, volunteer applications and project signups, email subscriptions, new updated account information, and more with NeonCRM custom forms. So there's really a lot of opportunity there. And all of these forms add data directly to your NeonCRM system without requiring additional data entry. Forms can be customized to look like your website, to collect data in custom fields, and to allow individual versus corporate form submissions. Now, if Neon's suite of online forms do not meet your needs, they also offer custom forms, which I mentioned before, and these can be built from scratch to collect data online, and you can use it with payment processing or you cannot. So a lot of folks use these custom forms to collect things like donor surveys, where you can create fields that are just relevant to that survey form and don't actually get logged into an account field that you might have created for a donor's profile. So NeonCRM also allows you to go one step further in automating online data collection with their constituent login portal. The constituent login portal allows constituents to log into their own NeonCRM account to manage their donations, update their account information, view their transaction history, and access and submit any forms or web pages you've made available to them. So if you use online forms and haven't yet turned on NeonCRM's encouraged login feature, I'd encourage you to consider it. This feature helps reduce duplicate account creation when constituents complete online forms because it prompts all online form visitors to log in before submitting the form. So if you think about your online donation page, what this feature would do is when someone goes to that page, they get a little pop-up menu that encourages them to log in, and they can X out of it if they don't want to. But by encouraging them to do that, if you find currently that you're having to clean up a high number of duplicate accounts in your database, this feature is going to help reduce those by prompting folks to log in. And so there doesn't have to be that duplicate check or creation of new account upon entry. So if you don't have this turned on, you can take a look and turn it on under global settings. Additionally, beyond offering automated data management and transparency to your donors, the Constituent login portal is perfect for tailoring online content to specific segments of your constituents. For example, if you want members to have a discounted event registration price, or if you want board members to access board-specific information online, you can do so with NeonCRM web tools and the Constituent login portal, as long as all those constituents are coded accordingly. So members are marked as members and board members are marked as board members. You have the ability with Neon to tailor content, your web content, to those particular constituents. Next up is one of my personal favorites, NeonCRM's Workflows tool. Workflows is a tool specifically designed to automate recurring tasks in your NeonCRM system. This tool allows you to define an action you'd like the system to take each time a specific condition is met, allowing you to automate actions based on data-driven events in your database. So you could trigger automated actions off of events like a new donation created, dates like birthdays or when a pledge is due, or new accounts matching other custom criteria. So for example, you could use the Workflows tool to automatically send a welcome email one day after a donor's first gift, or create an activity record assigned to a system user to call a donor after a major gift. You can also use the Workflows tool to update account fields, say to correct data entry gaps. And there's a ton more, really just limited by your creativity in terms of automations you might want to implement with Workflows. So this is a screenshot of some of the, I couldn't fit them all onto the page. So these are some of the actions that the Workflows tool allows you to take. There's a wide number, and it's mostly, my favorites are sending emails, updating account fields, emailing reports, and also creating records like activities and assigning prospects. So if you haven't tried out Workflows yet, I'd encourage you to try setting one up, and when you click on the triggers or action buttons within the system, it'll show you a full list of the available triggers and actions, so you can get a better sense of what's possible. So for automating data sharing between NeonCRM and your other fundraising tools, NeonCRM offers a long list of certified built-in integrations to automate data sharing between common fundraising tools and your CRM. So the most popular built-in integrations used by NeonCRM users include integrated payment processing, so with NeonPay or other third-party processors. Includes QuickBooks for accounting data entry and reconciliation, Eventbrite for event coordination, NeonOne's RallyBound for modern peer-to-peer fundraising pages, Donor Search and iWave are available integrations for prospect research, and MailChimp and Constant Contact for bulk emails, and there's tons more. So if you're looking for robust integration options for accounting, data enrichment, analytics, events, advocacy, and other tools, take a look at NeonCRM's integration partners and their certified pre-built integrations. This page and a full, pretty inclusive list of integrations is listed in your global settings in your Neon system. Now, one of the integrations you'll find in that list is for an automation tool called Zapier. NeonCRM's Zapier integration offers users who don't find what they need in NeonCRM tools and built-in integrations the ability to build their own automated integrations with over 1,500 apps, including Shopify, MailChimp, Emma, Eventbrite, Google Forms, and many more. Now, Zapier is a separate application from NeonCRM, And it allows you to enhance your productivity by automating procedures with workflows across multiple applications. So, why Zapier? First off, Zapier gives you the ability to build and manage integrations, again, with over 1,500 apps, and it's all within a single platform. And there's no coding required. So if you're thinking, oh, well, custom integrations, don't I need a developer for that? The answer is not with Zapier, at least not with the most common integrations you might set up in Zapier. Zapier is a platform that is exclusively built for common everyday users who need an easy-to-use interface to build step-by-step connections between one system and another. So why else Zapier? Zapier provides visibility to integration performance so that you know what data has gone through the integration and when, and was it successful. So essentially Zapier is a platform where you can go in and see, what's happening to your data. Zapier's workflow builder provides custom mapping and unique design options. So you can choose what data you want to push across and how it flows to your other system. Zapier operates in a similar way to NeonCRM's workflow tool, and it has the same basic building blocks. So if you're familiar with workflows, Zapier is going to feel really familiar as well. So just as with the workflow tool, automations with Zapier start with a trigger. So in Zapier, a trigger is an event in one app that starts a workflow. So for NeonCRM, a trigger might be a new donation. That's an event that happens in Neon, and we can use it to trigger a workflow that prompts actions in other applications. So once you have a trigger, you can add action steps to complete the workflow. And actions in Zapier are tasks, right, that are completed following the workflow. So it's step 1, step 2, step 3. And these steps, they can include actions in another app, like creating or updating records. They can include formatting steps for, to customize how your data is coming across. Or you can include things like filters so that you can design each workflow to only run for the specific data you have in mind. So take a look at NeonCRM's application listing on Zapier.com for more information on the pre-built triggers and actions available for building custom integrations with NeonCRM. You can also find ideas for automated workflows with other apps to spark some inspiration on how you might use Zapier to meet your automation goals. There is likely an unlimited number of ways to use NeonCRM tools for automation because they're designed to be customizable to each organization. Even so, there is a lot of overlap between fundraising offices, development tasks, and automation goals. So with that in mind, let's explore some of the most common ways to use these tools we've been discussing to automate common fundraising tasks. So the 5 most popular use cases for automation with NeonCRM tools include online data collection or streamlined data entry, event-triggered emails like acknowledgements and reminders, segmenting mass communications, integrating your accounting, and task management. NeonCRM is ahead of the market on what it offers for online features, in my opinion. So most commonly, NeonCRM users choose to automate their online data collection by using NeonCRM's robust integrated web forms. These are forms that you can design to match your website, and they collect donations, event registrations, memberships, and a ton more. We had a slide earlier that listed out all the different types of things that NeonCRM forms can collect. But if you're looking to go further, you can tailor your online content to individual constituents using the Constituent login portal and compatible forms and web pages. Or you can use built-in integrations to connect with third-party applications like Eventbrite and Rallybound. These types of integrations sync your data. So if your data is added, like so if someone registers for an event in Eventbrite, or they give to a fundraising page in Rallybound, these integrations are designed to sync that data over into NeonCRM so that you don't have to do any manual data entry. With NeonCRM's Zapier app, you now have even more options for online data collection. So you can use your preferred online form platform, whether it's Classy, Gravity Forms, Wufoo, Shopify. You can use that form platform and build your own workflow with custom mapping to automatically write form submissions received in that platform over to NeonCRM via Zapier. With Zapier, you can create any workflow as long as the trigger you need is available in the source application. So if we're looking to add form submissions to NeonCRM, we need a Zapier trigger for new form submission from the source application. In this case, Gravity Forms. You'll see this is a screenshot of the different triggers and actions available for Gravity Forms and NeonCRM in Zapier. And you'll see this is the trigger available for Gravity Forms, this new form submission trigger on the right. That's what we're looking for if we're looking to take new form submissions into NeonCRM. We need that trigger event, which Gravity Forms has. But we also need actions that allow us to write the data we want to write to the target application, in this case, NeonCRM. So if I look at this list, I can see, oh, well, NeonCRM allows us to create an individual account, create a donation. Something that's not listed here is they also allow you to find accounts. So you can find an account and create a donation. So if we take this one step further, how would we do a workflow from Gravity Forms to NeonCRM? You can use these triggers and events to build a workflow in Zapier to add form submissions received via Gravity Form directly to NeonCRM. So in this example, we could write each form submission, which is the trigger event, to NeonCRM as an account and a donation, first finding our account. So this is step one, new form submission. Step two, find an account that matches the new form submission. Was the account found, which is a filter step we can add in Zapier? If yes, create the donation. If not, first create an individual account and then create a donation. So it's a step-by-step integration workflow to hook up a third-party form, in this case, Gravity Forms, to NeonCRM. So the next most common use case for automation in NeonCRM is processing acknowledgements. So NeonCRM automation can significantly reduce the time you spend processing acknowledgements and other event-based communications. To get started with automated thank yous, in particular, I'd recommend setting up your system email and letter defaults in NeonCRM for each event you want to trigger automated emails or letters for. Then set up tailored email and letter versions per event and use conditional logic, right, to tell NeonCRM which email or which letter you want automatically generated when new donations or other transactions occur that meet your conditions. So to go one step further with NeonCRM tools, you can use that same functionality to automate retention tasks as well. Those are other events that system emails and letters let you trigger automated communications off of. And by setting up these defaults, letter and email versions, and conditions for transaction pay later and anniversary events, you can automatically generate reminders for pledge payments and renewals, so you never have to miss one again. Now, if NeonCRM's built-in tools for system emails and letters don't offer you the experience or maybe the depth of customization you're looking for, you do also have the option to turn to Zapier integrations. So as long as your preferred email application is connected to Zapier, you can use Zapier workflows to generate emails or letters in an application like, for example, Mandrill, which is associated with MailChimp. It's an email platform. So you can generate emails in Mandrill, for example, each time a new donation is added in NeonCRM. So here's what a workflow like that would look like. NeonCRM Zapier application allows us to trigger workflows on new donation. So in this example, we use that trigger and a filter step here in blue to complete a workflow that sends an email from Mandrill using the data that comes across from NeonCRM as merge tokens in an email template that we created in Mandrill, right, instead of NeonCRM. Being able to automatically segment email audiences for tailored communications is a critical feature for development offices. When you're looking to email your individual donors, your lapsed donors, or some other segment of your constituency, your CRM and email systems should make segmenting that list easy. Otherwise, you're spending time manually cleaning up mailing lists and creating new audiences every time you send an email. NeonCRM's campaign email tool allows you to generate and send emails to any segment of your database without having to leave the platform. The best way to automate your communication segments in NeonCRM is to build dynamic audiences. This feature allows you to search NeonCRM with custom criteria and create a dynamic list of accounts that's going to update as NeonCRM accounts are modified. And so as they fall on and off the list, that list is going to stay up to date. So you're never going to have to rebuild it as long as you built it the way you needed it the first time and you're keeping your data clean. So to start, you might create dynamic audiences for all donors this year, all major donors this year, maybe everybody that's given over $500 or more, and maybe another segment for all lapsed donors. So these are segments that you wouldn't have to rebuild for your next appeal mailing because they would just exist. To go one step further, you can consider using NeonCRM's workflows tool to send one or more new donor welcome emails after an account's first gift. So that's another way we can automate segmented communications by using the workflow tool. Now, if you use a third-party email tool, NeonCRM offers built-in integrations for tools like MailChimp and Constant Contact, so that you can build and send your campaign email out of that platform. But each time you want to send an email, you can easily push over your segmented audience from NeonCRM to the email platform to get that automated segmentation. Now with Zapier, you can go even one more step further and automatically add or remove subscribers from your third-party email tool when an event occurs in NeonCRM. So essentially you can set it and forget it. So instead of having to go and update your audience in MailChimp, for example, by pushing new updated data in NeonCRM over to MailChimp for your subscriber list, you can set up an automated integration so that each time you send an email through tools like MailChimp, MadMimi, or Constant Contact, you don't have to take any action to ensure your email list is up to date. Like the automation is just pushing subscribers to MailChimp, for example, in the background. Zapier also gives you the ability to automatically sync account and giving data for your subscribers in a third-party email tool so that you have the ability to automatically segment your subscriber list in that third-party tool. And so you don't have to recreate the wheel each time you send out an appeal. So with this, I mean that like with Zapier, you can pull over more than email, like name and email address and other custom fields. You could pull over donation information so that you can see in MailChimp someone's last gift date or their last gift amount, and thus do some of that more advanced segmentation or mail merges right into your emails without having to run a fresh upload from NeonCRM. That data will just get automatically stored in MailChimp with your background automation. So here's an example workflow that would allow us to automatically add and remove subscribers in MailChimp whenever an account is updated in NeonCRM with email opt-in or email opt-out statuses. So a trigger event would be updated account. In this case, we're using something called webhooks, which is an API tool that NeonCRM offers in order to get updated account as a trigger, and then we're using a filter action step to say, okay, was this account that's been updated, do they have an email opt-in or email opt-out? And then from there, we can add or update subscribers, add subscribers to tags and more, or we could even unsubscribe subscribers. So if someone opted out in your NeonCRM system, for some reason, you could unsubscribe them. There's tons of ways to do this workflow differently. This is just an example. Automating accounting data entry and reconciliation is honestly one of the most common challenges I encounter with nonprofit database users. If your accounting and donor database systems are not integrated, you end up spending double the time logging new transactions because you have to key them in separately into both tools. For QuickBooks users, you want to make sure you're using, or at least have explored, NeonCRM's robust built-in QuickBooks integration tool. This tool queues up new transactions for your review and approval in NeonCRM, and then allows you to push all approved transactions directly into QuickBooks using custom mapping without requiring duplicate data entry. Now, if you need more advanced custom mapping, maybe, or if you use an alternate accounting tool, or maybe you just want your transactions to automatically be logged in your accounting software without requiring that review in NeonCRM, Zapier might be a good alternative for you. NeonCRM Zapier application allows you to build a workflow and custom mapping that would automatically add transactions created in NeonCRM to accounting systems like QuickBooks Online, Xero, Zoho Books, and more. You can even use Zapier to solve other accounting-related challenges, like sending automated invoices to prompt payment on pledges, for example. When building a workflow in Zapier to automate data entry into an accounting tool like Xero, you can use action steps to customize how your NeonCRM data will match your chart of accounts and other transaction categories in your accounting software. So that's what we're doing in this workflow. We're saying, okay, we're triggering off of a new donation in NeonCRM. And then once we get a new donation, we want to create and update a contact. In this case, I'm looking at Xero, an accounting software. And then we want to map, this is the mapping step I mentioned, we want to map our donation data to Xero accounts. And we might do that in 1 to 2 steps. It really just depends on your mapping requirements. But there's tools in Zapier to help you do that. And then, maybe we want to create a sales invoice or create a payment on a sales invoice. So that's just an example workflow of how you might take new donations and push it into a system like Xero. Great, so finally, we're to our 5th use case here, which is task management. And when it comes to task management, every development office is doing something different. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to making sure work gets done and opportunities for donor cultivation don't go unattended. And that's because some people really like their paper lists. Some people like to use their calendars, Outlook or Google calendars for tasks. Some people might want a more advanced reminder structure or task management platform. In NeonCRM, the tools that they rely on for tracking donor stewardship activities and helping you get them done center around what's called the activity record. So you've probably seen it in NeonCRM under an account. You can log and track activity records. So staff can create those activity records to track donor stewardship actions and assign those actions and next steps to system users. And then each activity record can be set to send reminder emails, right, to the staff member. They also show up on that user's activity dashboard so that when they log in, they get notified, that they have something to do. But in my opinion, to truly automate task management with Neon activity records, you'll want to explore the Workflows tool. Workflows can be used to prompt cultivation action by automatically creating activities assigned to a user, sending emails or reports, and more. And this is all based on, an event, date, or conditional trigger in Neon. So let's say you want to personally call anyone who gives over $500. You could use the workflows tool to automatically create an activity record for that donor whenever a $500 gift comes in, right? And you could automatically assign that activity record to you so that you get notified that it's, that you have something to do, and you don't actually have to remember, oh, we just got a $500 gift, let me go create that activity or log it in my task management system so that I remember to do it. It's just automatically prompted for you. Now, if you prefer to use a separate task management system outside of NeonCRM, like Asana or Basecamp, or maybe you're an Outlook calendar guru, you can use Zapier to automate reminders or create tasks in your preferred tool so that all of your tasks are managed in one place without requiring that manual entry. You can even go one step further and set up Zapier to update or log activity records back in NeonCRM when your task is marked complete, right? So let's say someone gives a donation and you want to, like, over $500, we can use that same example. They give a donation over $500, you could use Zapier to listen essentially for that gift in Neon and then trigger a workflow once it's received to create a task, let's say in Asana, for like a week out, or maybe today, your preference, to call them, right? And then it's logged in Asana, and when you're going through your task list for that day in Asana, you see that you need to call that person, and then when you mark it complete, you can have a separate automation that pushes that update back into NeonCRM to update the activity and close it out. So this workflow actually uses a code step to find and update an activity record in NeonCRM once that associated task is completed, and again, for this example, in Asana. So code steps are available in Zapier for users who are comfortable with it. And it just enhances what you can do. Not all triggers and actions are available in NeonCRM's Zapier application, but that doesn't mean they're not possible. There are other API tools like coding, for example, that allow you to do it. So kind of sky's the limit. It just depends on what you're comfortable with. Great. So as all these examples illustrate, NeonCRM offers a suite of automation tools to help you get more done, including Zapier-enabled automations, which offer users fully customizable solutions between NeonCRM and your preferred tools. With Zapier, there's little need to manually move data between different systems again. Now, if you're still feeling uninspired, here are some other ways you could use automation in your daily fundraising tasks. So just a grab bag of ideas. So you could flag someone as a prospect upon like a large first-time gift. You could notify board members of gifts made by their contacts. You could sync activities in NeonCRM with a Google Calendar. You could run real-time dashboards in a spreadsheet, or log activities via BCC email or web form entry into NeonCRM. You could collect and respond to form responses in third-party apps like, Classy or Gravity Forms like we looked at earlier. You could set tasks and reminders based on activities in NeonCRM. You could create and send email invoices for pledges in third-party apps. Subscribe new donors to a welcome email series, send automated pledge payment reminders. You could send automated lapsed donor member renewals, schedule automatic duplicate scans to identify cleanup, set automated email notices of data quality gaps, sync up a Shopify store with Neon products and purchases, or add transactions to NeonCRM from third-party platforms. And there's tons more. With NeonCRM tools and Zapier, the ways in which you can use automation to help you get more done is really only limited by your creativity. So how can you get started with automation at your organization? Well, if you're looking to set up more automation in your development office, there's 5 steps I'd recommend. So first off, while it can be tempting to jump straight into creating an automation wish list, I'd recommend first taking the time to complete an assessment to identify where investing in automation will be most impactful for your organization. Depending on the tools and configuration required to set up the workflows you need, you may encounter additional technology costs. So with your assessment in hand, you can create a prioritized wish list of automations, each with a case for support based on how much time you will save on manual work that can then be refocused on higher value tasks. Once you're ready to get new automations in place, we recommend diagramming the workflow you'd like in detail. So specifically, what event will trigger the workflow? What actions need to happen to complete the workflow? So you do this in detail so that you really know step by step what you want to happen. And then you'll have the information you need to review and select the tools that are going to be required to get the automation you want set up. And then you can build and test your integration until it's functioning the way you envisioned. So if you're looking for support in identifying and building out automations in your NeonCRM platform, please get in touch. We'd be happy to discuss your goals and explore ways we can help you get the most out of your suite of fundraising tools, I should say. And with that, thank you for joining us today. We're not quite done yet. We're going to do questions, but just housekeeping. We were recording today, and we'll be sending that along with slides over email. And so I did see some questions coming through while we were getting through the presentation. So I'll take a look at that now. If you have any questions, sort of just to wrap up, please do log them in the Q&A panel, and we can work through them.
Oh yeah, I've been engaging a few of them as
Awesome.
we go. And Allie, that was fantastic. I do have to be upfront and honest that I was chatting with some members of the NeonCRM team over here while you were talking, just kind of like, sharing on Slack, like, yeah, like this is amazing, right? Like that was really, really cool in terms of the stuff that you overviewed. A few elements that I think I want to hit off before there's a really big meaty question that Rebecca Howland actually asked. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to give a few things for some folks here. I know we have a lot of NeonCRM users on today's webinar, and so definitely one of the things somebody asked is, how do we get training on Neon workflows? One of the things that you can definitely leverage is the Neon One Academy, which is also what Allie's team went through to get certified in NeonCRM. What we've done is expanded our courses through Neon One Academy to even engage the workflows training in particular. So definitely check that out. It's a good entry-level course on how it works to go beyond the support guides that we have. Now, especially when it comes to Zapier, especially when it comes to best case uses, that's why we have Sidekick, because our professional service team is going to be able to dive in and say, this is how things are best optimized using NeonCRM itself for functionality. But what I love about Sidekick Solutions is that they're going to think about the holistic picture and kind of your own technological ecosystem and be able to drill down into specifics of, like, somebody even asked, for instance, how do I visualize in a spreadsheet, right? Like, Allie, like that's not something that our team is just going to like out of the box think of, I would say, because we're going to be thinking about Neon dashboards. Whereas you're like, whoa, hey, this is how you can do that. And in fact, I might, if we have time, I do want to actually ask about that one. But I do want to ask a very quick poll question. If you are actually not a NeonCRM user and want more information, please just let us know in this poll that we're asking. If you're a current NeonCRM user, you don't have to worry about that. But there was some folks who were asking about information on resources or if we're doing certain integrations and upgrades and things of that nature. You can email me. Besides our consultant program, if you contact partners at neon1.com, I also oversee all the certified integrations in terms of curating that around the entirety of Neon 1, not just NeonCRM. So if you're ever interested in kind of knowing if something is being worked on or want to log some interest, partners at neon1.com, that's me going directly to Tim Serantonio. So Ali, I do want to get to this really, really meaty question at the top, which is, at the end of the webinar, I'd like advice on pitching automation and integration to board and coworkers that are used to and prefer paper copies of everything and distrust automation. Was specifically told by a coworker when we chose to go with Neon that we would not trust anything automatically generated by the system and will continue to manually check everything. Now, I want you to get your take on this. I will say from personal experience, the job I had before Neon, if somebody made a donation online, I would have to walk to another building in order to process that because it actually didn't hit the credit card processor by submitting online. And then I had to walk back and enter that manually into my donor management system. If anyone is going to say that that's a time saver and going to be the best use of your organization's money, that is where I would like to start the conversation in terms of the time spent when it comes to this. 86% of nonprofit professionals cite that they are performing work outside of their job descriptions. We are overworked, we are underpaid. Automation is the default, in my opinion. But Ali, I'm going to defer to somebody a little less you know, I'm going to get off my soapbox. I want to hear from you in terms of that.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Tim. I actually agree with you. Something I mentioned towards the end of the webinar was starting out looking at automations and integrations with an assessment. So what I mean by an assessment is really doing a time study. Like, how are you spending your time? And actually using tools to track it. It can be a little intimidating having to track my time for work. It's definitely different than it was when I was a development associate and didn't have to worry about that. But it's really helpful to know, like, oh, I spent 3 hours on an upload I have to do every week to get my, you know, payments that are processed over here in this other system uploaded into Neon. That's 3 hours a week that you could get back. And if you multiply that over every week of the year that you're doing that kind of work, the amount of time you're spending on those types of recurring tasks really grows. And so that's kind of what I meant by a case for support. When you have that kind of data, you can say, oh, I spent X amount of time on this. Maybe we should look into an automation, because if we can automate this, even if you're just automating it to the point where you're batching your review, you don't necessarily have to get rid of reviewing the data that goes through an automation. In fact, I think it's really valuable and important to be reviewing the data that goes across, because honestly, like, it doesn't always work. It doesn't match every situation. Sometimes, I mean, ideally you'll blueprint out an automation or an integration so that it's only tackling the successful situations, and errors might get pushed to you for review, right? So you don't have to think about the stuff that's easy. You only have to look at the stuff that maybe is harder to map or harder to process. But I think I've kind of gotten on a tangent. I think there's a lot of different ways to do automations. It definitely comes down to, when you're trying to convince board or other staff members, looking at how are we spending our time, and is it how we want to be spending our time? Like, when you look at your job priorities, like, are there other things that you wish you were doing more of, or that maybe the organization values more than doing those 3-hour uploads every week? Which is really important. But if there's another technology, like if there's technology you could use to save that time, like how else could you be spending those 3 hours?
And I think one of the things that I get frustrated about, either from the traditional fundraising realm of consultants or other software where they poo-poo automation is that they make this assumption that it's going to downgrade the donor stewardship experience. And in fact, automation, if done right, can optimize it. One such example is an integration we have with a platform called CauseVid. What CauseVid does is anytime a donation comes into NeonCRM, it can kick off your ability to do a personalized video for that donor. And there's a lot of data that shows that video engagement is one of the top ways that you can steward people at this point. And so that's a case of automation that enhances the donor stewardship experience. But even something as simple as like, your letters, if you can automatically queue up the right template, because Neon's not going to like start printing, it doesn't like automatically start sending things to your printer with no review, right? You have to like look at what you're going to be reviewing when it comes to the letter itself to make sure that the merge was done right, to make sure that the language is good. So that's the type of thing that when it comes to print, you should always use the automation to get you to the point where the stewardship experience is then something you can pay attention to, as opposed to like messing around with how to even get the letter set up in the first place. So that's kind of my hot take on that.
Mm-hmm.
Some other questions. So this is a really good one, and this is from a fantastic user at NeonCRM, I know for a fact, T. Kibo Drew, is, do you have an assessment templates or steps to follow? We'd also like more training on Neon workflows. We've just started using them for work processes, but we want more information in terms of fundraising. So what types of resources do you have when it comes to this type of stuff?
Yeah, great question. I would point you to our website, sidekickssolutionsllc.com. We do have a NeonCRM blog and some other resources there around doing an assessment, which you might find valuable. I think just sort of off the top of my head, I would repeat what I said earlier around an assessment being focused, especially if you're trying to assess around automations and integrations. There's two areas I would look at. One, how are you spending your time, which I said before. And two, what are all the tools that you're using across the organization? What are those tools? Because you'll be surprised. Like, you don't always think about how you use, Google Sheets to, do some additional event coordination work, or just track your registrants because maybe you haven't figured out how to run that report out of Neon, or maybe that data's not in Neon yet, right? So there tends to be a lot more tools that we're using than we really realize. And so listing them all out and taking a hard look at, well, why am I using that tool? And then trying to assess, like, is this the best tool for the job? Or could there be another way to maybe integrate that data into Neon? Maybe I still use that tool, but I get it into Neon so I don't have to manually move that data over. Or, maybe there's a NeonCRM tool that you just haven't explored yet that could replace it and save you that time and having to set up the integration at all, right? So
I'm coming up next week to, I think it's going to be my 8th year working with NeonCRM at this point, and I'm still always surprised and learning things that the system can do. There's just there's a lot to unpack, and so that does dovetail into something that somebody asked in terms of trainings, for instance, and these are things that we always want to continue to invest in. Definitely check out Neon One Academy if you haven't. We'll be providing the Q&A to the professional services team and our head trainer as well, because those are types of things that we take into account. We always want to listen. We are kind of getting close to the end of time today. So, I think so Allie, how about you pick the final question that we're going to answer? There's a few that are outstanding, but we are coming up to the end of our time today. So maybe pick our final question.
Sure. So I'm going to pick Laura Beth Hooper's question about what would it look like to run real-time dashboards in a spreadsheet. And this kind of dovetails with is there any CRM tool that could replace Google Sheets? So spreadsheets and integrating those with NeonCRM definitely can be done with Zapier. It's really like when you come down to the technical pieces of that, like how do I do that? What's it going to do? What's it accomplishing? You want to think about, well, why am I using that spreadsheet in the first place? So when it comes to analytics, getting a dashboard in Google Sheets or something like that, yes, it could be done through Zapier. I would first explore reports that there are like public. You can make a report in NeonCRM public and then share that link with board members, for example. And so that's kind of a live dashboard. If it's already doing what it wants, it's going to dynamically update that report every time you look at it. So that's one option. If it's not quite doing what you need, you absolutely can push data. Like as new data comes into NeonCRM, you can use Zapier to push that into a Google Sheets, for example. And then that's sort of a live queue of your data that's coming across. So that's one way to do it. There's other tools that can allow you to do sort of more whole-scale updates to a spreadsheet. And if you're really curious about that, I encourage you to reach out and we can talk more directly about it. Now, when it comes to like, is there a NeonCRM tool that replaces Google Sheets? I would need more information to really answer that directly. Google Sheets, you could be using it for a lot of different uses. It's kind of the comfort spot, right? It's like spreadsheets are so comfortable. Like it's a way to deal with data when you don't really know how it fits in your system or what tools to use that might work better. Now, if that's just where you want to live, maybe you should think about Zapier as a way to sync up that data. Like if you're more comfortable in spreadsheets, fine. Zapier could be a way to link up updates to that spreadsheet to push it into NeonCRM. That's an option.
What I'd love is if you're listening here and you're on the Twitters, go ahead and @NeonCRM and tell us what is something that you'd love to automate. And that's the type of stuff that not only are we going to pay attention to, but let's start a conversation about automation, the types of things that what can we take that you have as a Post-it note on your desk that you have to remind yourself to do in your day. Take a picture of that, show us that even, and then I'll go ahead and spotlight those two. So Allie, this was fantastic. I know that we still have some other questions about like board member areas and stuff that we didn't get to. I would say a board member restricted area would be, special documents or something like that. But unfortunately, we are at time. What we're going to do is make sure that this is recorded. We're going to take the recording and put it on our YouTube channel. I'm even getting some Twitter stuff about like, hey, where can I find this? We'll make sure to get that this is something that you can find. And Allie, any final parting thoughts before we end today?
No, just thanks so much, you guys. I really enjoyed presenting with you, and thanks so much for joining.
Awesome. Thank you. Everyone have a great day. We're heading into a very important time of the year, so let's free up some time for you, get some automation going. Have a great day, folks.
Great. Take care.